Looks like the end of Halloween and the beginning of Christmas. Or combination. Halloween, Christmas. Hey y'all. I'm back at it again. Out here grubbing, doing Grub. You know how important it is to have multiple streams of income. So welcome to the Abundant and Prosperous channel, where everything is about that, abundance and prosperity. And this video is basically like a vlog of me doing food deliveries for Grubhub. So I will take you along as much as possible. I finally got a car phone holder, so I'll be able to, I believe, film a little bit better. But thank you for coming along on the ride with me. Hey, so now I got my car phone holder connected to the AC vent, and it looked like it scraped it a little bit, maybe because I don't know what I'm doing. But anyway, I hope that you are willing to come along on this ride with me. I'm getting ready to drop off an offer, that's what we say in Grubhub, from a Greek restaurant in the Providence area of Charlotte. And so yeah, you will hear the GPS giving me directions, because that's the only way I'm gonna know where I'm going. But yeah, so thank you so much for traveling with me, if that's what you decide. I can't really see the screen for the driving directions with the phone in the vent. So what I think I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to maybe change this and put the phone in the part that connects to the dashboard or connects to the windshield. So I'm gonna see how that works, because I can't see the screen. For driving directions, and I just made a mistake. I'll be back. Okay. I lifted the phone up a little bit so that I could see the screen on my car that shows me the driving directions. And talk to you at the same time. Again, thank you for spending this time with me. And what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn the camera around and let you have a little visual of the area that where I'm driving, give you like a little visual of the area where I'm driving, so that you can see the area. Okay. This is a beautiful apartment community. Audrey Kell Road. It's a main road in like the Providence, Ballantyne, Blakeney, Stonecrest area. The whole area is very beautiful. It has beautiful apartment communities, townhome communities, subdivisions, single family homes and mansions, gated communities. Those are all in this area. See, now this is a subdivision with some nice houses as well. That's one of the things that I do like about doing Grubhub. Of course, it's a way to make extra money because I'm all about multiple streams of income. Just in case one fails, at least you have something else. And but riding around to different subdivisions, experiencing different beautiful communities such as this one is an added bonus. I get to get out, get some fresh air. Experience these beautiful areas. Okay, I just dropped off the offer that I picked up, well, the food that I picked up from the Greek or Mediterranean restaurant I was telling you about. I forgot the name of it. Something that starts with a T. And I want to show you the subdivision. I need to get my nails done right. I'm going to show you the subdivision of the location where the subdivision of the house, the subdivision of where the house is located. It's a beautiful subdivision. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, you ready? Enjoy the view. Beautiful, beautiful subdivision, beautiful houses. Real, very clean, well manicured, quiet. I just saw this little kid riding down the street.
Turn right onto Revelwood Drive.
On its scooter.
At the next stop sign, turn right.
Or skateboard, rather. I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to put the volume on quiet. We'll see how that goes. A lot of times when I'm driving, especially when I'm not filming, I can start to get into a like hypnotized or otherwise in a hypnotic state when I'm just driving by myself. So the I don't know if this was even up high enough for you all to see that subdivision, but I'll try to do better with the next one. Okay.
At the stop sign, turn right onto Costigan Lane, then turn right.
We are in the Ballantyne, North Carolina area of Charlotte. And if you look to the right, they are putting up the Christmas trees as they do at this time of the year. They have them on all four corners. And Ballantyne is in the South Charlotte area, very close to South Carolina. The closest area to Ballantyne in South Carolina is called Indian Land or Fort Mill. And I usually go over there to get gas because the gas prices in South Carolina are usually cheaper than the gas prices in North Carolina. And it's only like about 5 miles, so we're pretty much on the border. Ballantyne is considered my neighborhood, my home. I live here. It's a very, very beautiful, affluent area. Golf course area. The largest subdivision in Ballantyne is the Ballantyne Country Club. And it consists of a huge golf course, huge houses, luxury houses. As a matter of fact, we're passing it now. My bad. Oh yes, see it says Ballantyne Country Club to the right. So to the right is the Ballantyne Country Club subdivision. And so I just picked up some food at a Cuban restaurant, and I am on my way to drop that off. And thank you for riding with me. Look at these beautiful trees. Yellow, green, red, burgundy. It is fall, y'all. Autumn in North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina. So I'm making this my last delivery for the day, and the drop-off is in Matthews, the town of Matthews. And according to my GPS, it's 22 minutes away, 14 miles. And so I'm hoping that you'll keep me company for 22 minutes. Let's go. I silenced my GPS talking to me so that it wouldn't keep coming on with the direction during the video, but I may need it because it keeps me on track. Sometimes when I'm driving, my mind drifts and the GPS will yell at me, turn right, and I'm gonna go, yes. But since I'm with you all, I should be okay. So yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about, you know, the importance of having multiple streams of income and entrepreneurship and investing, etc. Because in this day and age, you know, the age of Aquarius, the information age, it's very important to have multiple streams of income, and it's also possible to have multiple streams of income in this day and age. So I'm 60 years old and I worked in the New York City court system for 16 years. And when I had my daughter about, 28 years ago, she's gonna be 29 in March, I started getting this urge for entrepreneurship. And when I worked in the court system, it was the best job I had ever had. I worked for a judge in Brooklyn Supreme Court specifically. I worked for two different judges. The first one was the Honorable Joseph B. Williams, who I loved to death. He was an amazing human being. He's deceased now. He's been deceased for a good couple of years. And then when he retired, I went and worked for a criminal term judge, and she was amazing as well. I was with Judge Williams for about 6 years, and then I was with the criminal term judge for about 10 years. And I'm not saying her name because I'm not honestly sure whether or not she's still alive, and I'm not sure whether or not she would want her name. But then again, she's a public figure. They're public officials when they're judges. So the Honorable Yvonne Lewis, she was amazing as well. She officiated my marriage. In 1992, my first marriage. And we were married for 11 years, and he died in the year 2000 when my daughter was 3 years old. And so it was just she and I against the world. And so I was so thankful that I had Judge Lewis as an employer, because she was an amazing person. If I needed to bring my daughter to work, it was no problem. Anything I needed to do, it was never any issue, any problem. And I'm so thankful for that. So when Michaela turned about 5 years old, I kept getting this entrepreneurial bug. I was like, I can't leave my job to my daughter, you know. I would love to be able to build some kind of legacy through, you know, entrepreneurship, so that I could leave a legacy for my heirs and, you know, subsequently be the first millionaire in my family. Still reaching for that. I'm still reaching for that. So I started studying these courses, real estate courses. I had these big binders to read, and I had a whole bunch of CDs. So the same thing that was in the binders were on the CDs. And so, like, when I was driving, for example, to work, I could listen to the CDs and learn how to be a real estate entrepreneur. And so I was so excited about that. And I was trying to do it, you know, when I was in Brooklyn. And I felt like I need to just branch out and just do it. And I jumped in head first. I resigned from my position with the Honorable Yvonne Lewis, and it was something. She cried. She didn't want me to leave. She even took like about, oh my gosh, she took a while before she even would hire anybody else, just in case I wanted to come back. And so I left with no plan, with no, you know, like the plan was, okay, to be a successful real estate entrepreneur, but I left with no like big savings. I had just bought a house like 3 years prior, 2 or 3 years prior. I bought my first house when Michael died, my first husband. When he died, after, you know, the burial, what was left over, I used it as a down payment to buy, you know, my first house. And I'm so thankful that I had life insurance because, man, who knew? But my mom told me when we got married, she told me to make sure I had a life insurance policy, and I did. And it turned out that that life insurance policy came in handy. But when he died, I must say, I had so much support. The people that I worked with in the court system were amazing. Even when I had Michaela, my daughter, I had the biggest baby shower. I didn't have to buy anything for like the first year or two of her life. I got everything. The only thing I had to do, because I got 2 car seats, so I traded one in for a stroller. I had everything, bottles, you know, baby clothes, bibs, just everything, all of those onesies and socks and toys, and it was just amazing. I had to have one of my best friends at the time, she worked in the court too, and she drove a truck, and she had to drive me home from our baby shower because my car wasn't big enough to fit all of the gifts that I received. But in any event, when Michael died, I still got a lot of donations. Like, people was just giving me money like crazy. And it was such a transformative time. Gosh, even sitting here talking about it, I could get emotional. But in any event, it was like, I didn't care. I was like, I just was spending money, and I just was like, you know, husband of 11 years. My daughter's dad just died. Like, none of this materialism means anything. I started spending a lot of money on clothes and just being a little reckless in my grief. So I don't know what this camera is doing, but I think it's okay. Y'all will let me know in the comments if it's not. But so in any event, you know, I had the house and I loved it. It was totally renovated. It wasn't brand new. New York City, I don't know if there was any brand new houses back then, but anyway, I think there were. But you know, New York City is so compact, doesn't have a lot of land for new construction. But the house that I got, it was totally renovated, so everything was new. It was so nice. And when I left the court system, it was like I said, I didn't have any plan. I just walked away, and I was trying to do the real estate thing on my own as an entrepreneur, not as an agent. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I could do this here in New York City. Maybe it'll be better for me to transition to the South. Maybe it'll be easier. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea what I was doing. And so my dad was alive at the time. My mom had died in 1997. Matter of fact, she died one day before my 32nd birthday and 2 weeks before my daughter was born. I was due any day, big and pregnant, and due any day when my mom died. My mom had cancer. She lived with it for like about 7 years. She wasn't able to come to my wedding. So Judge Lewis married. The camera cut off. I don't know. I guess it cuts off after a certain amount of time. I don't know, but sorry about that. But Judge Lewis, you know, she married Michael and I. We got married at the courthouse in her courtroom, and it was nice. It was still nice. I still had a nice white dress on, and beautiful dress. And Michael and I had lived together for like about 3 years before we got married. And so I left, and I contacted my dad, and I told him, you know, what was going on with me and how I wanted to move to Charlotte, North Carolina. And he was like, you don't know anybody there. Why don't you come here to Columbia, South Carolina? Because when my mom and dad retired from New York City, my dad was a New York City Transit Authority worker, and my mom worked for a bank. Back then it was Manufacturers Hanover Trust Bank, and they both retired, and they moved to Columbia, South Carolina, because my maternal grandmother at the time was ill, and my mother wanted to live near her mother so that she could help take care of her mother. So that was why they chose Columbia, South Carolina. So when I went there in 2002, I moved there in 2002. I stayed with my dad for a couple of months, and girl, it was one of the hardest things I could have done. Oh my God. How old was I? I was 37 by that time. Moving back in with my parent. Oh my God. But in any event, I'm thankful that he was there to help me make that transition at the time. But living with him wasn't easy. I love you, Daddy. He's my ancestor now, and he was a great father, great great husband. Him and my mom were married for like over 35 years, up until the day my mom died. And my dad was a great husband, a great father, you know. And so I had my dad for 53 years, because he died when I was 53, and I had my mom for 32 years. So I had my dad a lot longer. And I'm just gonna leave it. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm learning, and I'm not, afraid to make mistakes. That's another thing. I was always so like insecure and wanting to come across as perfect, but there's no such thing. And at 60 years old, I'm like, I understand that. So I moved to Columbia, South Carolina, and I walked away from my house in Brooklyn, and with really no savings, and just on a dream. Again, did not know what I was doing. And so again, I lived with my dad for a couple of months. My daughter was 5. We enrolled her in school. She was in kindergarten. And I was hustling and trying to be a real estate entrepreneur there. And I did a little bit, but it was way tougher than I thought, because I was trying to do, real estate deals that were like for seller financing, that, looking for sellers who were willing to, offer seller financing, all of these different creative ways of getting in real estate without money or without a bank. And so, sometimes you can find deals and you can pass it on to an investor who has the money, and he'll, give you like a bird dogging fee, for example, or if you could get a contract and wholesale it or stuff like that. And so I ended up going back to work because I had a little girl, and bills don't stop. And I ended up getting a nice apartment in Columbia, South Carolina, St. Andrews Apartments. It was very nice. We had a wood-burning fireplace in our apartment because we were on the upper floor, and all of the amenities, a gym and outdoor swimming pool, and it was just really nice. But yeah, so I went and got some temp work at a law firm, and I was still trying to hustle a little bit. And in the meantime, my finances suffered a lot because, like I said, I walked away with no financial plan. My house ended up going into foreclosure in Brooklyn. Although I did have a tenant for a little while, I had a great friend, because I used to go to church back then up in New York. That was like one of the best experiences of my life. St. Paul Community Baptist Church, where the Reverend Dr. Johnny Ray Youngblood was pastor. And in any event, it was just like such a unique type of a church. It was amazing. And so one of my fellow church goers, he was also my neighbor, and he would look out for the house for me when I was, when I left to come south. And he ended up finding somebody who became a tenant, and that turned out to be a mess, to you all. Let me see where I'm going. It seems that the GPS doesn't really work while I'm filming, but I'm here now and I'm at the drop-off location now, and so I wanted to record a little bit this subdivision because it is so beautiful, and I just wanted you to see how beautiful it is. .323 is the number I'm looking for, and it's on the left. It's on my side of the road. 1323. This is a very beautiful, beautiful subdivision. Looks like all of the houses are like one level, ranch style. Could be like a senior community for people 55 and over. We have a good amount of those here, and a lot of them look like this. You know, senior citizens usually don't want two levels because stairs and achy knees don't go together. Achy knees, broken hips, they don't go together. Alright, I hope you enjoyed. Oh, look, let's get some Christmas. There you go, Christmas decorations. So I dropped off my last Grub order for the day, and I know I was going into some history about myself. I think I'm gonna end it here. I don't even know who's gonna make it this far. Nowadays, everybody's attention span is short, especially, you know, when you don't know me. So, but I'm hoping that I can share my story in order to, of course, make a difference in somebody else's life and help somebody else not to make the same mistakes I have, because you're gonna make your own mistakes. So thank you so much if you've watched this far, and please like and subscribe and press the bell, the notification bell, so that you can be alerted to when I post a video, and put any comments in the comment section below, no matter what they are, whether it's positive or negative. All comments are welcome. And thank you again, and I look forward to sharing so much more with you. Take care.